Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case: Sam, the Sandown ghost clown.
How are you doing today, Jake?
For fuck's sake. I'm good, James. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fantastic. I got not a lot of sleep. I spilled a tall can all over your floor and table.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's really about it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I tried to go to sleep last night, and instead of that thing where you fall asleep or like lay in bed and all of a sudden you're wide awake, I laid in bed and all of a sudden I was just fucking terribly pissed off. So
Yeah.
It's been an angry weekend.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting together, so that we can talk about some spooky shit.
And then I spilled a beer all over your table and floor.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. That's okay. I'll let it pass. I'm sure you're going to rate this episode high and make me feel so much better about myself.
We'll see.
And if you don't, I've got the safety off on a gun in the garage. I'll just... No, I'm kidding.
That's a joke for the Canadian government. We don't have any guns.
Right.
And if we did, they would be locked up in a safe where they're completely inaccessible.
Precisely. I bury mine in the ground. Well, James, we've both been a little spiteful, a little pissy this weekend. So I got a case that might cheer us up. Do you like jesters?
Not particularly.
Okay,
They're just kind of dicks.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a rude word. They're just kind of jerks, like disguised as clowns to make it seem more jesty, I guess.
All right, well then never mind my last statement. I got a story for you. May 15th, 1973, just outside the town of Sandown in the Isle of Wight, a 7-year-old girl named Faye was playing with her friend, a young boy of the same age, in the woods outside of Sandown. Now, we don't know the boy's name, and Faye is a pseudonym, just letting you know. As they're exploring the woods, they both hear something that causes them to freeze. Off in the distance, they heard a faint, wailing siren, similar to that of an ambulance. Their curiosity was piqued. They began to follow the sound, trekking through dense foliage, the eerie sound growing louder as they ventured, until the tree line broke, and they found themselves in a swampy meadow, as the wailing immediately ceased. They trepidatiously began to walk further, wondering what happened to the sound. They both heard it, and it got extremely loud. They began to cross a small bridge over a creek, when something grabbed one of the rail posts from under the bridge. It was a 3-fingered hand that appeared to be wearing a blue glove. And then from under the bridge emerged a person, but also nothing like a person. A strange being, standing about 7 feet tall. They were in disbelief in what they were seeing. They were frozen where they stood. The silence in the air was deafening. And then the being revealed in his other hand a book, which it proceeded to drop in the creek below. It then began to fumble in the water, trying to get a hold of it again. When it got its book back, it proceeded to jump to the riverbank and walk towards a strange windowless metal hut that the children had not noticed up to this point. It was about 50 yards away. This being walked like a cartoon, with its knees bending up to its chest before stepping back down. Before they had time to question what just happened, this thing returned from inside the hut. But instead of a book, he had a black knobbed microphone with a cord attached to a white box similar to an amplifier. He brought the microphone up to his head, and the wailing sound returned, louder and more screeching than before. The children turned to run away from this nightmare when the sound suddenly stopped. And then they heard a voice. The voice said, "Hello, are you still there?" It sounded as if the voice was inside their ears. They stopped and turned. This creature was yards away at this point, and they could still hear it as if it was right beside them. The kids thought the voice sounded friendly enough, and perhaps it realized it had frightened the children with its wailing. So the children began to walk towards the strange being. This is when they got a better look at what this creature actually looked like. To quote Faye, he was nearly 7 feet tall and had no neck, for his head appeared to be wedged straight onto his shoulders. He wore a yellow pointed hat, which interlocked with the red collar of a green tunic. A round black knob was affixed to the top of this hat, and wooden antennae were attached to either side. The face had triangular markings for eyes, a brown square of a nose, and motionless yellow lips. Other round markings were on his paper white cheeks, and a fringe of red hair fell onto his forehead. Wooden slats protruded from his sleeves and from below his white trousers. And just like his hands, his feet had 3 digits. When the kids got close enough, the being pulled out the same book as before. He began to write down a phrase, and then showed the children. The words seemed in random order all over the page. He then pointed at each word as Faye read aloud. Hello, and I am all colors. Sam. James, have you heard of Sam, the Sandown ghost clown?
No, I can't say I have. Believe it or not, this one is also, like so many others, new to me.
I figured this one would be really new to you.
Yeah. Sounds horrifying, though.
What do you think of clowns?
Not a lot of great stuff.
I understand.
I mean, in the last 5-10 years or so, they've really just become nothing but a creepy, scary thing as opposed to joyful children's laughter type thing.
Yeah, it's weird. They've become like a horror icon instead of any sort of entertainment.
Yeah, like there was that brief period of time where people dressed as clowns were just like staring at people down the street at night.
That was a weird time.
Yeah.
Everyone who likes to bring the nostalgia pill over about 2016 always forget about that little thing that happened.
Well, funnily enough, it stopped when people started trying to hit them with cars and machetes.
And shooting them and
Yeah.
beating the shit out of them.
It turns out that wasn't a great idea for the people dressed as the clowns.
Yeah, and then the police in, I think it was South Carolina, said it was okay to shoot them on sight. And then everything kind of just stopped.
Yeah. God bless America.
Goddamn right. That would actually be a good way to see how many honest Bigfoot sightings are. Have the police come on and say, by the way, if you see a Bigfoot, you are legally allowed to shoot it on sight, and see how many guys in suits would still go out into the woods.
I feel like a lot of people wouldn't need that permission structure.
It's not necessarily for the people there. It's the announcement to see if the people wearing suits would still do it.
Right. See if the sightings stop or not.
Yeah. I think that would be something worth testing. It might narrow it down a little bit.
Might get some Bigfoot killed.
It might. But then we prove it's real.
If you were to shoot a Bigfoot, where would you shoot it?
I don't think I would ever shoot a Bigfoot. I've never once thought about where I would shoot a Bigfoot.
Not maybe like the knee, so you don't kill it, but also you could capture it.
I'd probably shoot it if it was inside, because then it's trespassing. That's where I'd shoot a Bigfoot. Inside.
Oh, I didn't mean where location. I meant where.
I know, I was trying to fuck you up.
I was like, huh? Anyways, clowns and jesters. I don't think a lot of great things about them.
I understand.
I don't necessarily think they're funny.
No, not really. And this one isn't really that funny. It seems actually rather disturbing.
No, this does seem very disturbing.
Well, it only gets worse.
Seems easy to draw, though.
Lucky for you, James. I got a picture for you.
Oh, how about that?
All right, James.
Yes.
I knew I couldn't get into this case for very long without showing you a picture of this strange thing.
Someone say we've barely started.
Yeah, I knew I had to bring this up quick. So here is an image, or a drawing, sorry, of Sam, the Sandown ghost clown.
That looks straight out of Adventure Time.
Yeah, right?
Somewhat similar to what I was picturing.
Okay. You know, it's an odd character.
I mean, yeah, I'd describe it pretty much how you would. 3 fingers, 3 toes, barefoot. weird little hat with a little ball on top and 2 spikes, triangle eyes. It almost looks like round buttons for like cheek flush, square nose, and an oval mouth.
It's very odd.
Like, not Mr. Potato Head, but kind of like
A little bit.
things stuck on a sphere type ordeal for a head.
You know who it reminds me of? Is the guy from Jack in the Box. It makes me think of that commercial from every time. It looks like the Jack in the Box guy.
I hope to try Jack in the Box one day.
I've only driven by it
Where?
in the States.
I was gonna say, we don't have that here.
No, we don't.
Maybe that's what I'll do with my time off. I'll go on a fast food tour of the U.S.
Come back 20 pounds heavier.
It's only natural.
Perfect. I love it.
Unrelated completely. But yes, it does kind of look like the Jack in the Box mascot.
Yeah.
I think his name is Jack.
I think his name is Jack. I should have just said Jack.
Not in a box.
He is not in a box. Unless the restaurant's the box.
I wouldn't want that thing talking to me or wailing at me.
No. He began to speak without his microphone, but sounded strange, almost robotic, and his lips did not move while he spoke. He was just repeating the same line Faye had repeated to him. Hello, and I am all colors, Sam. Eventually, the children started to ask him questions. They asked him why his clothes were ripped. He said, "They're the only clothes I have." They asked him if he was a man. He answered with a bit of a chuckle. No. They then focused on his paper white skin and asked, "Are you a ghost?" Sam replied vaguely, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." Then they asked him, "Well, what are you then?" Sam simply replied, "You know," without any further explanation. And apparently they kept asking him, "Well, what are you? Who are you?" And he just kept saying, "You know," and wouldn't say anything else.
Not a big fan of Sam so far.
Little weird, huh?
Sure, he's a nice enough guy. Or not a guy. Nice enough,
Faye also noticed, nearby, 2 men were working on a fence post. But neither seemed to notice what was going on. They were close enough that they should have noticed what was happening. Faye believes that they were in some sort of bubble, making them, Sam, and the hut invisible to the human eye. And for reference on where this is, it's kind of between an airport and a golf course. It's not necessarily in a very public space, it's kind of a rural area.
Yeah.
I can actually show you where it's estimated that this took place.
What a strange thing to think. Oh, we're just inside of an invisible bubble.
Well, they are 7.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's right.
That makes perfect sense to them.
I did forget that part.
So right here is the Sandown golf course. Right here is the rarely used Sandown airport. And they are somewhere in between here and this swampy meadow here.
Just some 7-year-old kids playing between an airport and a golf course in a swamp forest. What country is this? Where's the White Isles?
Isle of Wight is off the coast of England.
Coast of England. Ah.
Yeah. It's a small island, and the airport was rarely used, so there wasn't really any fencing or anything. They could just walk around it. And the golf course, I guess, wasn't that busy. It's kind of a smaller area. And those woods actually are pretty close to a suburbia. They're maybe within a kilometer or so.
Yeah.
It's also 1973. So,
I mean, my brother and I had, I wouldn't say a great amount of freedom, but we had somewhat, we lived across the street from a park with a little small forest, about only a city block size, and we'd have enough freedom to go around in that forest, play around.
Yeah.
Given we probably weren't 7, it was probably a little older, but still.
Still. It's this is 1973. These kids are running through the woods.
Yeah,
and
you had complete freedom at that time.
And they've obviously never heard of stranger danger.
Yeah.
They tried to ask Sam more about what his name was, to elaborate on his full name, which he stated that he had no name, which makes people believe that he was referring to the children as Sam. Lots of people seem to think it was hello, and I am all colors, Sam. But in typical Sam fashion, we don't really know. He's quite vague with his answers.
Yeah.
He told them that there were more like him. He also said that he was scared of humans, confessing that he thought they would hurt him.
Fair.
Fair enough. That's not a bad assumption to have. He told the children, "If they attacked me, I would not fight back." What are you thinking about this interaction with Sam right now? It's a very strange being.
I think these 7-year-olds have a great memory for this entire conversation.
Well, there's more to the conversation that they don't remember. These are the parts that stood out to them.
Right.
The reason why we know all this is because this was an article back in 1978. This article was in BUFORA, which is the British UFO Research Association. Initially, Sam was reported as an unidentified flying object or extraterrestrial type of encounter. So it was put in the BUFORA journal. The whole account is like 3 pages. I read the whole thing. And there's been like some other bits and pieces that have come after this, but it's a really small sample size we're getting from this story.
Yeah.
And that is who made this art. This art's from the BUFORA journal.
I think it's still a very weird, creepy encounter. Don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. To me, it feels like something trying to be human, but not getting it right.
Asking the 7-year-old kids if they fight back, or if they attack him, he won't fight back.
Well, like, he was like, what do humans have? A shirt, pants. They need microphones to speak, obviously. They have mouths.
Obviously.
They have mouths, eyes. I've seen them wear hats. You know, it looks like he's trying to be something, but he's not getting it right. Kind of like that Men in Black type of deal.
Just a movie, Jake.
The real Men in Black that I'm talking about, not the ones that you keep referencing. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
After this, he invited the children to come inside his hut. They agreed.
Naturally.
The children proceeded to crawl through a small flap to get inside the hut. When they actually entered to get inside, Sam was already inside, even though he actually let them in first. And I do have a picture of the hut for you.
The hut looks like a stereotypical kind of treasure chest, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's just wooden box with a rounded dome top, or not dome, but like cylinder top, I guess.
It kind of reminds me of those like army Kwanzaa huts, but like if they were 2-story.
Yeah.
And it's allegedly this thing was entirely metallic and it had no windows.
Right.
But like I guess like squares where windows should be. But this art on the bottom here is based on it's from the BUFORA article as well.
Yeah.
So once they got inside, they saw that the hut had 2 levels to it. The lower was more spacious, with a lot of headroom. The walls were covered in a bluish-green wallpaper covered in different dials. The children said he also had an electric heater and basic wooden furniture. The upper floor was more cramped, with a metallic floor. And that's all the information we have about the second floor. Sam said that this was a new hut, and he had just made it. And he told the children that he fed off of berries that he gathered in the afternoon, though he didn't say a location. He also said the water from the river could be drunk, but only after he had cleaned it. He also said that he had a camp on the mainland he could go to, but like Sam's other responses, we were left with vague answers without much elaboration. Once inside the hut, he took off his hat to reveal white round ears and thin brown hair. He told the children he wanted to show them how he ate berries. He grabbed a berry and placed it in his ear. He then violently thrusted his head forward, which caused the berry to appear in his hollow eye. He then did the violent thrusting of his head once more, and the berry reappeared in his mouth, where he then ate it. Some say this was possibly a way for him to check if the berry was poisonous, like some sort of scan. He then looked at the children and apparently did like a strange haphazard ta-da motion. The children were more creeped out than impressed. Now, apparently, they spoke with Sam for about half an hour before saying goodbye. After leaving Sam's hut, they ran to where the fence was being fixed by those 2 men. And they saw them and said that they had just seen a ghost. The men simply laughed at them and said nothing more. Now, the children were convinced that Sam was a ghost or a strange man dressed up as a clown, but they didn't know what. And that is the last that we've seen of Sam from this interaction. The kids were adamant that they saw something at least, apparently.
Apparently.
I know at first it seems like a wild imagination.
Yeah. It seems like a toy they would have.
Yeah, it's a little.
It looks like a toy.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know what to make of it.
Are we getting ready for conclusions?
No.
Oh.
No, we aren't. Sorry.
No. I was just making a joke. I know we have a lot to go. We've barely started.
Well, the children may have made this up and made it something really imaginative, but they both agreed to not talk about it. They're so freaked out, and they also were like,
They weren't that freaked out. They talked to the thing for half an hour and went into its hut.
not like scared, freaked out, but like, this was weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just talked to those two grown-ups who were fencing a post, and they just laughed at them. So,
Kids with their wild imaginations. If I saw something like that, I would have been screaming and running away.
fair. Apparently, the boy was more scared than Faye.
Yeah.
Faye was a little more intrigued by it. But even at 7 years old, though, they knew that this story was insane. And it was most likely no adult would ever believe them.
Yeah, fair.
But 3 weeks later, Faye broke her silence. And she told her father on June 2nd, 1973. Now, at first, her dad, who we know as Mr. Y, was amazed by the story, but found it quite unbelievable. Just kind of said, that's a great imagination you have, dear. But Faye got extremely upset when her dad didn't believe what she said. And she kept recounting the story with such detail that perhaps something did happen. Even if it wasn't something supernatural, Mr. Y thought that his daughter at least encountered something. And based on her description, a strange man dressed as a clown brought two kids into a metal hut in the middle of the woods. So as a father, you would be concerned.
Yeah. I certainly hope so.
Well, Mr. Y knew that she was with a young boy at the time. So he went to ask the young boy if he saw anything. Apparently the boy was shy, and according to Mr. Y, very difficult to communicate with. But he did say that the story was true, and that they both saw something strange. So with that, Mr. Y went back to the area, and he was trying to investigate if any sign of a hut, of a strange ghost clown, anything.
And he found the hut.
No. Unfortunately, there was no evidence of a hut or any strange clown-like entity. But of course, this was 3 weeks later. So what could have been trampled by that point, who knows? After examining the area, talking to the two children, saying that they were both seemed very honest about their story, Mr. Y came down to the most logical explanation. His daughter and this young boy encountered an alien being.
Of course.
That's what I would go to.
Yeah, that's the default. That's the default scenario when your kids went into a clown's hut.
Well, here's the thing. This isn't the strangest theory that you could think of, because the Isle of Wight is actually a very strange place. The Isle of Wight is a UFO and paranormal hotspot. The Isle of Wight has more haunted locations per square mile than most of all the United Kingdom.
How about that?
Leading it to having the strange nickname of Ghost Island. And also, strange crafts ranging from lights to triangles to cigar shaped to the classic saucer have been seen all over the Isle of Wight for probably the last 100 years or so. Paranormal researchers believe that the Isle of Wight is such a hotbed of activity due to ley lines. Have you ever heard of ley lines before?
I have heard of ley lines.
Okay, do you know what they are?
Not enough to describe them to you.
I understand. And honestly, they're very difficult to understand.
But that is a term or phrase I have heard before of the ley lines.
Yes.
Either from you or someone else I don't recall.
Who in your life would talk about ley lines?
No one in person. It would have been you in person. That's it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ley lines are a theory developed by archaeologist Alfred Watkins, who noticed many ancient sites seemed to be aligned. He believed that these places were aligned for trade reasons, but where many of these lines crossed seemed to have things happen like hauntings, UFOs, cryptids, things like that. And the Isle of Wight is an area where these lines cross. Because of this, people in the area are used to strange things happening, and Mr. Y even experienced something himself. On Tuesday, October 20th, 1970, Mr. Y was driving to a friend's house when he saw a craft covered in multicolored lights flying over the nearby swamps, similar area to where they saw Sam. Now, he called this an aircraft, but as he watched, they seemed to be several separate balls of light. He said they were, quote, like a bright red cherry, but they would have flashes of turquoise and white in them. As he drove, the lights began to drive parallel to his car. They then dropped back about 300 yards behind him and began to float down slowly, moving in a circular pattern. He stopped his car and got out to look. He then had the idea to take out his flashlight, and for 10 minutes, he tried to communicate through Morse code. But the lights continued to jut back and forth. Nothing really responded to his lights. So he continued to his friend's house, and when he got there, he could still see the lights. And his friend came outside and saw them as well. And he said that they looked like they were playing, quote, hide and seek in the treetops. And this wasn't his only experience. On March 1st, 1972, between 9 and 10 p.m., Mr. Y was sitting on a cliffside near Compton Bay after a strange tidal surge caused by what he said was a strange underwater craft caused him to climb off the beach. When he looked back down at the water, he saw two balls of light that were, quote, peering up at me like the eyes of some horrible sea monster. He said these lights were about 40 feet from him, and they eventually disappeared as the tide subsided. On what his daughter experienced, his quote from the Before Journal was, I get the impression that Faye was somehow taken into a bubble of alien reality created by this strange personage. What do you think of that?
Mr. Y sounds like a crazy person.
His experience isn't that insane. Just lights in the sky. I have videos of lights in the sky that I've showed you. The fucking Phoenix lights. We have all sorts of lights in the sky people see.
Yeah.
That's strange. And also, USOs are becoming a lot more popular at the moment.
USOs?
Yeah, unidentified submergible objects.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course.
My bad.
So it's really common that UFOs were seen going in and out of the water without breaking the surface of the water. They just kind of float in, float out without anything happening. You see that a lot in the congressional hearings right now with all the different sightings that everyone's talking about. All these weird orbs going in the water and coming out. USOs are actually more commonly seen than UFOs, which is why they changed it to UAP, Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, so it encapsulates both USOs and UFOs. And it also doesn't have the stigma attached to it like UFO does. And he did have a friend that also said he saw the strange lights as well. So it's not just him.
Yeah.
And the Isle of Wight is known to be a strange place.
Who's to say? I wasn't there.
Of course. I didn't realize that aspect of this story.
I forgot. I've been skimping out on my I wasn't there's. It's been probably like 30 episodes since I've done it.
Well, lucky for you, you haven't been there for any of these, so I think it's assumed.
Presumably, I wasn't born yet.
Don't think so. Yeah, no, I can see why you could see him being a crazy person.
All this seems kind of crazy so far.
I know.
If I'm being honest.
All of this seems crazy. I know. I mean,
Bring up Mr. What's it called? Mr. Blobby or whatever.
Mr. Blobby.
Is it Mr. Blobby?
Who's that?
I think it's a British. Oh no, never mind. It doesn't look anything like it. A British kids show mascot thing.
Mm.
But never mind. It doesn't look anything like that. Equally as horrifying though if you look it up.
I'm looking it up. Oh, what the fuck? That is terrifying.
Yeah, it's not great.
I should have done an episode on that. That's way scarier than Sam.
Yeah, it's not great.
He's got such a dead stare.
It's horrifying.
Okay, our listeners in England and in Britain, can you tell us what the appeal of Mr. Blobby is? Because that is fucking horrifying. Oh man, I gotta get out. That's. I researched this shit, and that scared me more than anything I've researched on the show. That was horrible.
I'm a bit of a researcher myself. What can I say?
Have you heard of Mr. Blobby? Jesus fucking Christ, James, that's horrible.
I couldn't recall if it had more or less facial features.
Mr. Blobby looked like if Sam and Grimace combined.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, awful.
It's beyond nightmares to comprehend. That is horrible. Oh, fuck that.
I was trying to think of the best spot to shoehorn in Mr. Blobby, so
that was
that, and I forgot what we were talking about.
Well, James, for a long time, that was the story. It was just this one weird encounter that happened in 1973 and was reported on in 1978.
The end.
That's what it was for a long time.
The way you say that suggests there was another.
Until 2019.
2019?
We're getting into the modern era, brother.
I'd say so. I was born then. Before then, actually.
Again, I hope so.
Now I'm 7 years old.
We gotta meet somewhere in the middle. How old are you? Between 7 and 70?
Yeah.
So,
Between elementary school and retirement.
the fact that he's not wrong bothers me. But the fact that I can't call him out on it bothers me more. So in 2019, a man named Paul A.T. Wilson, who was a writer, researcher, and folklorist on the Isle of Wight, he got a phone call. The man on the other end of the line said, "I want you to meet my mother." And he asked, why? The man replied, "Because she was the girl who met Sam."
No way.
Paul was a huge fan of Sam the Sandown Clown. He spent a lot of his life researching the Sam the Sandown Clown case.
A lot of his life, how much was there to research?
Well, trying to track down who was involved, trying to see if there was anything else that people had seen around the world. There's lots of outside factors around this case.
Sure.
He was trying to connect. Trying to see if there's any sense that could be made.
Right.
Also, he's a folklorist. He wants to know about the folklore of the Isle of Wight. That's where he's from.
Something to do.
So he actually spent a lot of his life trying to track down witnesses, family members, anything like that. And he had encountered several people who claimed to be the elusive Fae. But every time he encountered these people, they seemed to do it for some sort of money. They wanted some sort of fame, anything like that, which didn't seem to align with how Faye and Mr. Y were in the story. They wanted to be kept anonymous. They didn't want their names out there. But he had a good feeling, and he wanted to give this woman a chance. When he went to her home, the woman that was allegedly Faye handed him a box. The box contained 60 pages of documents, original drawings of Sam, notes to Bufora that seemed to be between Mr. Y and the agency, and even the book that Sam allegedly wrote on with water damage. Paul was amazed by this, but there was something else. She looked at Paul and said, "That was only the first time that I had met Sam." The story continues in 1982. Faye was a young teenager. She was walking to a bus stop in a rural part of the Isle of Wight, when all of a sudden the air felt strange, like there was an active static. She began to hear a strange buzzing.
I think that's when you're about to get struck by lightning. Oh, look, my hair's standing up. Isn't that cool? Someone take a picture.
And then everything went white.
And
And there he was, Sam. But this time he's in a doctor's outfit and I was in the hospital.
Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Are you a doctor?
Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way.
I don't like where this is going. All right, it felt kind of staticky. The air.
The air did feel staticky. At least you got that. She began to hear a strange buzzing, and the area around seemed to shimmer and wave. And out from the woods, in the same cartoonish gait, stepped All Colors Sam. He looked the same, except his clothes seemed a little more clean. Faye wasn't scared. She was comfortable. Kind of like seeing an old friend. But Sam didn't have a book this time. This time,
He had a gun.
bang, bang, bang! It just wasn't Sam. It's just a weird guy in a clown outfit with a gun.
And Mr. Blobby.
Fuck! Shit!
Sorry, I keep derailing this.
God damn. Mr. Blobby with a gun. This time, Sam had a strange flute with buttons on it, which he used to draw things in the air. He would draw strange symbols, what looked to be letters, but nothing seemed to make much sense. And in typical Sam fashion, When Faye asked him what all this was or what it meant, he gave no reply. Sam started to speak. His voice sounded less robotic this time, though still vague. He told Faye that he'd been keeping an eye on her, and that he was glad that they became friends. Sam told her that things were better. He didn't have to forage for berries or go into hiding anymore. She asked him how things were better. Sam didn't reply to her question. After about 10 minutes, Sam told her to go home because her family would get worried. Sam nodded his head towards Faye and said, "I will visit you 4 more times if you want. Travel safely." He then bounded into the forest and disappeared. So now Sam's keeping an eye on Faye.
Visit her 4 more times if she wants.
Yes. It's not a really want thing. I think he's going to. That's the weird thing about Sam, is he says, like, if you want, when he's going to, or hello, are you still there, when he's actively looking at you. His language is weird.
What if he's like a remote control robot thing?
I don't know. I don't know if he's like some sort of weird drone, or if he's trying to be a person.
You figure if it was a drone, there'd be some sort of video feed. I don't know.
Well, who knows what's inside those triangles? Who knows what's inside that nose?
Well, you said the triangles were hollow, didn't you? You saw the berry in there?
Yeah, but the nose is like just a block. Maybe that's like some sort of recording device.
Yeah.
He's got those weird antennae on his head. The other thing is that when they went inside his house before, the decor seemed to be of the time, like 1970s, wood furniture, the electric heater. It was very weird, strange wallpaper. It looked like someone trying to be a human of the time. And clothes back then were more colorful. Maybe he saw a clown and got it mixed up with what people looked like back then. I don't know. But all of this to me screams something trying to be a person but isn't getting it, which we've seen with Men in Black and other strange mimics type of thing. But again, he doesn't seem threatening, just odd. And I think it's more that we're scared of him because of the unknown. Otherwise, he doesn't seem that threatening. Just very odd. The next time she saw Sam was the next year. She was in a park, drinking and smoking with some friends.
Hell yeah.
Faye hadn't even had a sip yet when she began to smell a strange earthy smell, like dirt and burnt leaves. All of a sudden she turned around and her friends were gone. The colors of the grass and the bushes and the trees seemed a lot more vibrant.
What was she smoking?
As far as we know, cigarettes.
I think they call them something different.
I'm not going to say it. But she said she hadn't had a sip or anything yet at this point, according to Faye. She said it seemed like the world had been overlaid by something unseen, and the whole area went deathly quiet. Then as she turned back around, Sam appeared. But this time, he had friends. They seemed to be similar to Sam, but she didn't get a great look at them. They seemed hazy and shimmery, and they all seemed to be murmuring with each other in a strange, distorted voice. In front of her were 3 doors, opened by Sam. Sam then waved her towards them and said that he was glad she was there. She said each doorway had its own atmosphere, and each doorway showed her something entirely different. She had a hard time remembering what was in them, but more the emotion tied to each door. But one door was sealed into her mind, and that was a door that showed a top-down view of Earth. She saw Europe without borders and no wall. Sam told her the world will not end in her lifetime. There'll be no nuclear war, and Europe won't be divided for long. Sam told her that this is the second visit, and he will visit her 4 more times if she wanted.
4 more times again? Second visit?
I think he's saying 4 more times, just like as he's like, I don't think he gets the numbers right. He's just like, I will visit you 4 more times if you want. And then he says it again, I will visit you 4 more times if you want. It's almost like it's a slight thing he has to say. I think he means 4 times total.
Right.
She asked him, why her? Sam just nodded, and she was right back in the park. She saw her friends still talking with one another, and she asked them how long she had been gone. They all just laughed at her and told her that she never left, She had just been sitting there for a few minutes. The next time she met Sam was the next year after that. She was walking to visit her boyfriend, but all of a sudden she felt compelled to go to a different direction. When she did, there was Sam. He looked different though. He seemed a tad more human this time. He had normal clothes, his skin seemed normal, and he walked normal. Sam told her that he doesn't have much time, but he said, "I know where you're going. You're going to see the boy. You shouldn't. Just turn around. Just go home. That is all. Please." He then turned around and left. They took this seriously and went home. Now, she didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but she just figured if Sam told me something's going to happen, I shouldn't be there. The next day, she found out that that night, her boyfriend and his friends were arrested for burglary. They decided to break into a house that night and steal a bunch of things and ransack the home. And if she was there, she might have gotten involved with the crime. So, Sam can see the future now. He's predicted that the Berlin Wall is going to collapse. There's going to be no borders in Europe.
And thankfully, no nuclear war in her lifetime, which presumably she's still alive?
As far as we know.
So that's promising, because things have been sketchy lately.
Things have been worrisome. We need to keep this woman alive. Put her on life support. I don't care. What do you think about these stories of Sam?
They're weird because they're just such short encounters and pretty random.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a view of Europe top down, or the world top down, and don't burglarize that house.
The other time it was just, you're walking to a bus stop. Hey, I'm here and I'm going to visit you 4 more times if you want, but it doesn't matter if you want. I'm just going to show up 4 more times.
I think it's weird he's becoming, I don't want to say becoming more human, but, you know.
Yeah.
Becoming a real boy.
That shows me that he's some sort of mimic, at least according to this story.
Do you think she's becoming less human?
No.
Okay.
No. She's still here, and as far as we know, she's still human. Oh, I forgot to mention, this Faye had a weird clown face and her mouth didn't move, by the way.
Her skin was paper white.
She wore a fucking hat.
She kept walking with her knees up to her chest.
Did I mention that she had one of those cigarette things where she has to speak with the microphone?
And like, I mean you no harm.
The last visit was in 1989. Faye has grown up. She's newly married, and she's in between moving homes at the moment.
Presumably to a different guy?
To a different guy. She did not marry the burglar, as far as I know. But maybe she did. I don't know. As far as I know, it seemed that she married a different guy.
Maybe she likes bad boys.
Maybe she does. One day, Faye was taking a break from packing up all of her belongings, and she decided to go for a walk. She started walking through a field when she saw something. A strange hut. But it looked like a white carriage with a corrugated iron wall for a roof. And out front of the hut was All Colors Sam. He seemed more like Sam this time around, and he invited Faye into the hut for tea. Sam poured her tea in a strange cup that looked like a porcelain cup but was malleable in her hands. She said she doesn't remember a lot from this visit. It felt like a dream. The one thing she did remember is Sam told her that the Berlin Wall would fall. Sam told her before she left that he would only see her one more time. And that time was at the end. Faye asked him where he was from. And Sam said,
I'm from this place, but different.
And that's the last time that she saw All Colors Sam. What do you think of that?
Well, he was right. The wall did fall.
He was right. The wall fell. The wall fell. He was right about that. Don't worry. I'm going to come back at the end. That's not weird.
At the end of what?
Probably of her.
We haven't seen him again yet, so.
You haven't seen him again. Sam might be a bad omen.
You think Sam's going to be in the UFO files?
I don't even know if Sam should be in the British UFO files. Like, Sam is considered a UFO case file. I don't consider him a UFO case file. Sometimes people are like, he's a cryptid. He's a UFO extraterrestrial. He's a ghost. He's just weird. He kind of like encapsulates everything. He's not any of the things. He's just an odd being that someone encountered. In my opinion, I think Sam, ironically, is a fae. I think he's some kind of fairy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And I know that sounds crazy at first. But the reason I think that is...
Well, if we know one thing about... Never mind.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say European forests, but the UK is not really Europe.
Well, here's the thing. UK does have a vast history of fairies, spirits. You know, think up in Ireland with the Banshee. Think about, the leprechaun in Ireland. Think about all the gnomes and such. Fairy circles. Crop circles were originally called fairy circles. Like, it's a big thing over in Europe is fairies. So in my opinion, there's also a thing called changelings, which look a little like people, except they have pale skin and sharp teeth and red eyes. And all sorts of mimics. All of that kind of is in the realm for me as a fae creature. And that's kind of where I stand with Sam. If he is paranormal, supernatural, I think he's some kind of fae or some kind of strange interdimensional entity. Those are my two things that I think Sam is.
Oh, yeah?
James is looking at me like I need to be put in a rubber room at the puzzle factory. I'm just saying, does that look like an alien?
Not one of the 4 that they showed on Fox News.
Does that look like a Bigfoot?
Probably not. Maybe a Bigfoot with the hair?
Does that look...
You said Bigfoot has 3 toes, some of them?
In the southern states. This is southern England, because that's an English Bigfoot.
Now here's the question. Do the Bigfoot with 3 toes also have 3 fingers?
No.
Alright.
Also, last one, does that look like a ghost?
Honestly, I don't know what a ghost would look like.
Think an ethereal, semi-transparent being.
That does not look semi-transparent, no.
It seems solid. People interacted with it. Either it's a weird guy in a strange Jack-in-the-Box costume that could make huts disappear, or it's some weird interdimensional or fae creature, or a lot of people in the Isle of Wight have a big imagination.
You think Faye was eating too many of the fairy ring mushrooms?
No. I don't think... It's difficult, because we don't have names.
This one's really out there.
It's very out there. But the thing is that if there were names to this case, I would actually doubt it a little more. The fact that there's no names to this case, and they tried to keep themselves hidden from this, to me, gives it a little more validity. Because it's an insane case, and this was in the 1970s. You're reporting to a UFO agency in the 1970s. You say anything UFO at this time, your job is on the line. Okay? So you're reporting it anonymously.
Well, she was 7, the first one.
No, the dad reported it to the UFO agency.
Right, that's right.
So what I'm saying is I can understand why Mr. White would be concerned, though.
Yeah, any parent should be concerned.
Of a weird thing dressed as a clown bringing children into a metal hut in the swamp.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yes. Yes, quite.
Yes, right. Indeed. The thing is that in the 1970s, think about in the 90s with the Phoenix Lights, people lost their jobs over that, you know?
Yeah.
In the 1970s, even worse, you're sending it into a UFO thing completely anonymously, and you're sending them a story like this. You'll want to stay anonymous for that. This isn't the kind of story anyone would get rich off of. This is the kind of story, if you said it, you're insane. I feel insane for it, and I'm presenting it to you, and it's not even my story. So in my opinion, interdimensional or fake creature, or some weird guy in a outfit that had a tent trailer, or big imaginations. And I come back to big imaginations for a reason. Let me tell you about Paul A.T. Wilson.
Before you fully debunk this,
Mhm.
If you could ask Sam one question, what would it be?
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
You've already done that with Bigfoot.
I know. What would you ask Sam? You go first. You're asking this question. I don't even know how to answer it.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Okay, you did that on the big one. Shut the fuck up. Whoa. It's hard because you don't know if you're going to get an answer. And if you do, it's going to create more questions.
I don't know. Ask him if he's real. Or just a figment of my imagination.
Are you God?
You don't want me to answer that.
No.
Oh no, you're talking about asking him.
Asking him. Imagine if God showed you his real image and it's that walks out.
Oh god, none of us are modeled after him.
Or God just got something really wrong making us and was like, see, this is the prototype. I'm really sorry. We messed up big with you guys. I don't know where you got these weird, fleshy, emotional faces from. You're supposed to be all static, jack-in-the-box faces.
Straight lines.
So here's the thing. With this guy, Paul Wilson. He is a writer, a folklorist, and a researcher. He claims that he met this woman who says that they were fae.
And sorry, when was his conversation with her again?
2019.
2019, that's right. So well after the wall had fallen.
Yes, well after
everything else.
All the predictions that were made in 2019. When nuclear war seemed like a lot less of a thing at the moment. Here's my issue. The story after this gets very flowery in the verbiage. There's lots of big words describing all the colors and contrasts, and descriptions go on forever like a novel, like it's written by a writer. We have a writer who's reporting this. He still will not give out the information on who Faye is, which I understand that part, but he allegedly has 60 documents, including the book that Sam used initially in 1973. Now, if he has all these, great. Show them to us. That'd be amazing evidence. Well, if you want to see him, you have to book him for a speech.
Oh.
Because he wants to talk about this in public.
For money.
For money. Strange, right? Also, after this, he started getting invited on a lot of podcasts.
Kind of like John Kachow, or whatever his name is. Kiriakou.
Kind of.
He's all over my YouTube feed instantly. He's like suddenly he's a guest on everyone's show.
He's at least a really good storyteller. And at least there is paperwork to back up that he was the CIA, so there's that.
I don't doubt he was in the CIA, but boy, does he like to talk.
He does like to talk. Anyway, back on this.
Yes.
Paul is a folklorist from the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight was a tourist town. Recently, from what I read, tourism and all this sort of activity they had for their economy has gone down the last little while. And the Isle of Wight is not looking like the amazing place it once was back in the 1970s when business was booming. Sam the Sandown Clown was a popular case around the Isle of Wight and different UFO cases. It's a very strange case, kind of a niche case. But it really started to boom in the late 2010s when a show called Astonishing Legends did a podcast about it. And that's when everyone started to talk about Sam the Sandown Clown. And that's when Paul Wilson came out saying, there's a woman that says to be fae. I think Paul is a folklorist trying to make money for the community and for himself. All of these writings seem extremely flowery. They don't seem like the initial story to me. Sam becomes a mind reader and a fortune teller and things like that. Before that, he didn't do any of that. He was a weird guy.
There's a guy with a microphone and a white box.
Yeah, he just made weird noises. He put a berry in his ear.
Repeated himself several times.
Yeah, and he never gave any sentences that were longer than, 6 words? And when he starts to do the other stories, he's doing big phrases about the wall won't fall, there's going to be no nuclear war.
Sam is really invested in Germany.
He's really invested in geopolitical climates, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like that before. He's just a weird guy in the swamp. Some people are like, well, maybe this Fae person, is tricking Paul, or maybe this Fae person is legitimate. I'm going beyond that. I think it's all made up. I don't think there is a Fae, at least in Paul's story. I think Paul is making it up to continue the story.
Right.
After this, there's statues put up of Sam now in Sandown. There's a Sandown Clown Festival now. And it's all kind of been pushed behind this extra story. I don't think it's real. And there's another thing that confirmed it for me, that this story is not real. We now know who Faye and Mr. Y are.
MI5.
No. When researching this case, I was going across different videos on YouTube, different articles on the internet, wherever I could listen. And if I'm working, I still try to get some information in. And I found a podcast, and I'm going to shout them out here because it was amazing work, called Cease to Exist podcast. The information in this show was fantastic. These guys did amazing research. I wish I could do the caliber of research they did. So shout out to Cease to Exist. And everyone should go listen to them. Up and coming, great podcast. The research was amazing. I was captivated the whole time, listening to all this different information. So At first, I thought it was going to be a pretty cut and dry, the original Sam the Sandown Clown case. So, what the guys found was an article from 1973 about a 7-year-old girl named Karen Arnold. This article was about how she had all these imaginary friends, but they were based on a storybook series written by her dad, Colin Arnold. Her dad was an artist, and he brought all these creations to life and made sculptures for her. And he mentioned in this article that all these beings that are made up in her head are crazy, and he makes up all these beings, and they're all great storytellers. But there was something they encountered the summer before that makes them believe that beings like this could be real. He mentioned that the previous summer, his daughter Karen encountered a strange 7-foot-tall being with 3 fingers on his hands and his toes, with blue gloves and a pointed hat, and white skin and triangle hollow eyes with a green tunic, and he brought them inside a hut. Literally said the story damn near word for word. So you can narrow it down pretty good that this was Faye and Mr. Y.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anyone else who encountered a clown in 1973 like this. Now, these guys on Cease to Exist, the way they found this was they went through articles. They went through newspapers.com. They searched through a bunch of different articles trying to find all these previous articles before the before article that everyone knows about. They found different things from 1976, 77 of Colin Arnold sending things in to Befora asking about this case, or into the newspaper about this case. And they contacted everyone they could to really narrow it down because they were adamant on finding who this person was. They even used Ancestry to find photos and see if they could track where this person was. They're trying to find Karen Arnold. And the thing is, they did. In like November, December last year, through Ancestry and all these articles, one of the guys from Cease to Exist found a girl on Facebook from the Isle of Wight named Karen something. He didn't reveal her new last name, but it was the only person that matched any name. So he messaged her on Facebook, and she confirmed that yes, she was the one who allegedly met Sam the Sandown Clown. But unfortunately, due to a brain injury from a horse accident in 1981, she doesn't remember much of what happened. But she did confirm that this article was her and her dad. That being said, this was Faye. So we can say that at least.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing about this whole thing is, she was completely unaware that this was a thing. She told the story to her dad reported it in Befora, and it became a big story in the paranormal realm of things, right? She didn't know until 2025 that this was a big story with people doing podcasts about it.
Was that before or after the festivals?
This was about the same time, but she had no idea about any of this sort of thing going on. So I don't know where she lives now, but I don't know if the guy is making the festivals happening. They're either happening this year or they started being put together last year.
Right.
But I don't remember which one it was. Go listen to Cease to Exist. They go into all of it.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the spark notes on this. But basically, she didn't know any of this was going on. She doesn't want any fame. She doesn't want her name out there or anything like that. She's like, yeah, I was this alleged Faye. I am Karen Arnold. That's about it. And she says, yeah, apparently this happened, but I don't remember it.
A horse girl with a brain injury.
She had a brain injury, unfortunately, and it's hard for her to remember now. So it's kind of like one of those really bleak endings to a story where you dive down these rabbit holes trying to find things, and it leads you to not like a brick wall, but almost like all the knots kind of just spread out and just kind of stop. But that's the last time we heard of Sam the Sandown Clown. It's an interesting story. There's still things coming out about it now, which completely new, like in the last few months. And honestly, Sam the Sandown Clown is one of my favorite paranormal characters. I absolutely love him. I just found his story really interesting, how unsettling it is, but also how not threatening it really is.
Yeah.
It's like...
I mean, it did kind of come across as like a child story.
It did. It was weird. But I don't know. What are you thinking about Sam the Sandown Clown?
You might find this hard to believe. Honestly, I was kind of getting on board a little bit until you did the whole breakdown of why it's probably not.
Well, that's just for
everything other than the initial story.
Yes.
But
you were getting on board with Sam
ever so slightly. Don't construe this as
ever so slightly. I would be surprised by.
Yeah, I don't know. It is very out there, but also wasn't like super out there in like a fantastic type of way. It was like almost like casual out there.
Yeah. It's like, it's so weird because the weird thing to me is it's odd, but not as odd as like a kid's story would be. You know, like, we know our buddy's kid and he tells us crazy things all the time. But even it flies off the rails to the point where you're like, okay, buddy.
The other weekend, he drew a picture of a racetrack, and it was just scribbling on a piece of paper.
Yeah. So, you know what? Maybe it was a racetrack to him.
Refused to draw a car.
What I'm saying is like, that's what I mean. It's like the kids' stories will fly off the rails really quick.
Yes.
This doesn't really fly off the rails. It's a cohesive story. It's linear. It stops, and there's no climax or fantastical ending. It just kind of says, he says goodbye. They went to talk to the guys nearby. They just laughed at them. They agreed to stay quiet for weeks. Kids wouldn't stay quiet if they made a fantastic story like this. They would go and start screaming and yelling about what they saw.
Not necessarily.
In my opinion, I think, like, like if you're making up a story, would you tell your friend, be like, yo, we made up this great story? Let's not tell anyone. Doesn't make much sense to me. You're making up a story for attention and entertainment value.
I mean, maybe you've made up the story 3 weeks after you said it happened. Who are those guys building the fence? Did we ever find them?
Didn't find them.
That story could have been made up at the time that they told Mr. Y.
It could have. It could have. I did look in the area where they allegedly encountered Sam.
Mhm.
I found the bridge, I think. I did it all in Google Earth.
It's probably not that big of an island.
It's not that big of an island, and they knew the area of where it was. It was between the airport and the golf course. So I just had to look in there. I had found a swampy meadow, and then they said it was over a creek. I found 2 creeks. There was River Yar, and there was Scotchell's Brook, I believe it was called. And Scotchell's Brook matched more the description. It was in like a swampy meadow, and it was thinner. And I found a footpath. There was a bridge footpath over the area, and it was right by where the airport was. So that checks out to me. This description matches.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't doubt that there were kids and they played in that area.
Mm.
Like that's not in question at all. It's just,
I know. But what I'm saying is, it's tough. It's a tough one because how allegedly upset she got when she told her dad and her dad didn't believe her. It provides something, but also she's a kid.
And her dad had multiple UFO experiences.
2 UFO experiences. That's fine. Lots of people have UFO experiences.
When did you say he had these UFO experiences again?
1970 and 1972.
Oh, but that was before. That was
Yes.
before her
Yes.
story.
Some people thought maybe he told these to his daughter, and maybe she concocted a story from it.
Well,
She would have been like 4 and 5 at the time, though.
You just said that he did make up stories for her.
He was making a story based on these. I didn't know the actual. Couldn't find the actual article, but the cease to exist guys found it, and I could be butchering it, but it was basically he wrote like a storybook on like these wild characters, and he made these sculptures for her, and he was like an artist. Unfortunately, Colin Arnold passed away in 2023, so Karen's still alive, which is Faye, but I feel like if it was a complete lie, she would be like, "Oh, I probably made it up," sort of thing. Like she would have come out and been like, she's older now. She never got any fame. She wouldn't be losing anything by saying, "Oh no, I'm just a kid who made it up."
Well, she did caveat it with,
I had a brain.
I had a brain injury and I don't really remember.
Yes, but she says allegedly something happened, but she doesn't quite remember. I don't have a brain injury as far as I know, so I couldn't tell you how it works because I can't experience it.
I don't think anyone really knows how brain injuries work. That's why they're
still
random.
They're still being reported on today, like studied today. So we don't know much about the brain still.
There's people who allegedly have brain injuries, then suddenly speak in foreign accents. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard of that a couple times.
The body is weird. There's also those things where people get donated like organs and they get like the personality traits from the other person who they got it from, which is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think something happened. Whether this was a crazy man putting berries in his ears.
I was gonna say, this sounds like almost maybe like a coping mechanism for something you saw as a child and you don't really know how to unpack it.
Well, I just like they're 7, and I don't think they would fully understand what they saw. Like you think about when you're seeing like
if I saw that today, I wouldn't know what I saw.
Well, think about like you know what I'm talking about, like with people who saw UFOs like thousands of years ago, they would say flying carriages or something like that, right? Because that's what they could
reference things that they did know.
Yes, exactly. Same thing with a kid. Maybe the furniture wasn't wood, just looked like wood. Maybe it wasn't a metal hut, just kind of It's how they saw it. Things like that. Maybe this was some kind of weird suit. I don't know. I think at least maybe there was some weird guy dressed as a clown who could do a magic trick. Remember when I was a kid, my uncle used to do that thing where he'd wrap his thumb around, put his thumb around his finger, then wrap his finger around it, and then pull it off.
You actually did that very well.
I practiced it when I was a kid. I was like, I need to learn how to fucking do this. But that trick, and I was amazed. I was like, how can you pull your fucking finger off? That's amazing.
Got your nose.
That too. Got your nose. When you're really little, you like 2, 3, you'd probably believe that.
Yeah,
you've seen kids panic when you take their nose, right? So I don't think these kids had the ability to comprehend really what was going on if anything actually happened. At this point, I'd say kids like under 7, they're not at the lying age.
7, that's like what, grade 3 for us, give or take a year?
Grade 2, yeah. But like with that, like they're not really at the lying age yet, but they're at the fantastical story age where they're trying to
imagination is peak.
Yes, exactly. It's not like when you're like 9, 10, 11 when you're like purposely lying to get out of something. They don't have that yet. They still have that innocence about them where they're just like making cool stories. I love the story. And I love the entity that is Sam. It's so creative and cool. The validity is something I've always questioned. And I understand why people do question it.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
And I would present more to you to prove it to you, but it's 3 pages in a before article. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we got these drawings. So with that, are you ready to go to conclusions?
Yes.
Okay. So today, James, on the case of Sam the Sandown ghost clown, we have 2 children that claim they met up with a strange clown-like being in a swampy meadow. This being spoke to them and said it was not really a ghost in an odd sort of way. It brought them inside its hut, and it showed them how it ate berries by putting it in its ear, thrusting its head forward violently for it to reappear in its eye, repeating the same motion for it to be in its mouth, and then eating it. We have the fact that these children did not tell their parents until 3 weeks later, but when Mr. Y went to investigate the scene, there was no sign of any sort of metal hut, though this was 3 weeks later. We were also on the Isle of Wight, which is a paranormal hotbed known for UFOs and ghostly activity. Unfortunately, that's kind of all we have, because with the person that we found to be Faye, Karen Arnold, she had a injury from a horse accident in 1981, causing her memory to be fleeting. But we do also know that her father wrote storybooks and created imaginary characters and sculptures for her to play with. With all of this, on our scale from 1 to 5, 1, I'm an idiot. 2, you're skeptical. 3, you're on the fence. 4, there's something strange here. 5, 2 children encountered all colors Sam in a swampy meadow. What do you come down to today?
2, I'm skeptical. If not 1.75, but I'll just say 2.
Not much meandering on that one.
Nah, no point in it.
Yeah.
It's all a little too convenient, I think.
I'm a 2.5.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical, but kind of on the fence from the way the story's told. I don't know.
Some people are just good storytellers.
They are. I know. I am one. It is a good story, and I do like the character, but I think it's just a good
I really
story.
enjoyed it. I think it was fun.
Yeah. It's unsettling, and then you slowly realize, no, he's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
Nothing scary actually happens. So
kind of looks like the gumball machine from Adventure Time. That's what it is. Like the giant
Yes!
the giant gumball guardians.
he does look like the gumball. Okay, I get it now. Yes.
Yeah. That's what it was.
All right. Well, I'm glad we finally nailed what he looked like.
Yeah.
With that, thank you for listening, everybody. I could not get James over the fence on Sam the Sandown Ghost Clown, but it's hard to do with lack of evidence. Though, I do love the story, and the entity of Sam is an interesting character. Please follow us on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The link is in the description of every episode for podcast updates. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please rate, follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. It goes a long way. But if you want to go a little further, we also have a Patreon, where when you join, James will welcome you by doing a doodle over a picture that you send him. We have examples on our Instagram and Facebook. You can go check those out. Patrons also get the chance to vote on their own 1 to 5 scale for each week's episode. As well, for the low price of $5 a month, you get a monthly bonus episode where James and I go over a different case from strange, dark, or forgotten history. Links to our Patreon is in our show notes and our show description. Also, we have merch. Go ahead and check out our Shopify store. The links to all of these will be in our description of every episode and of our bio. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it is free. And if you have any case ideas, or if I've missed something, or if you have evidence from your own cases, you can email us at darkdoseinpod@gmail.com. With that, James, any words to the wise?
Saying "I don't remember, I was kicked by a horse" is a great alternative to "I can neither confirm nor deny that."
Wise words from a wiser man. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.